For centuries, Stonehenge has been studied from the outside. Every stone has been measured, photographed, and debated, yet something remained out of reach. Recently, artificial intelligence was used to examine what humans could not access directly. What it reconstructed was not a passage or an empty space, it was a sealed chamber. And the data suggests it was designed with one clear rule: it was never meant to be opened.
Stonehenge as an unfinished problem. Stonehenge is not what most people think it is. It has long been presented as a monument, a symbol of ancient achievement, or a place of ritual. Yet, a growing body of archaeological analysis shows that the site behaves in ways a simple monument should not. Its structure raises engineering questions that have never been resolved. Traditional explanations focus on what can be seen. They describe the stones, their circular arrangement, and their alignment with the sun during solstices. These explanations account for appearance, but they fail to explain behavior. Measurements of weight, spacing, and angles reveal a level of precision that exceeds ceremonial needs. The stones interact structurally in ways that suggest purpose beyond display. The layout deepens the mystery. Every stone appears deliberately placed, yet the purpose is not obvious. The placement does not follow a random pattern. The sarsen stones are spaced between 1.0 and 1.4 meters apart with remarkable consistency. This level of precision suggests deliberate engineering rather than symbolic arrangement. The stones appear positioned to bear load in a specific way, even though there is no visible structure above them that requires such support. Archaeologists repeatedly encounter limits where answers should continue. Excavations and surveys reveal patterns that become more precise rather than more decorative. Mapping efforts show alignments and stress relationships that imply a design extending beyond what is visible. Many researchers now argue that Stonehenge was never meant to be understood from the surface alone. The mystery is no longer framed as lost meaning, but as structural absence. Something essential appears to be missing. Yet the visible design only makes sense if that missing element exists. And when we examine the sheer effort required to build what we can see, the mystery only deepens. The visible stones are only the first layer of a problem that refuses to be solved from the surface.
The scale of effort that exceeds the surface. The effort behind Stonehenge is far greater than most people realize. The site contains several types of stone, each sourced from far beyond the surrounding landscape. The smaller blue stones weigh up to 4 tons and were transported more than 100 meters from quarries in Wales. The largest stone, known as the altar stone, weighs 6 tons. According to a 2024 study published in the journal Nature, it may have originated from northeast Scotland, a distance of more than 700 kilometers. Though researchers continued to debate the exact source, moving stones of this size across such distances would be challenging even with modern equipment. There is no clear reason why this effort was necessary if the goal was only ceremonial display. The scale of labor points toward a purpose beyond appearance. Transporting and placing these stones required extreme coordination. Archaeological estimates suggest that moving a single 6-ton stone could have involved hundreds of people working together. Ropes, wooden rollers, sledges, and carefully timed movements would have been required. This level of organization could not have been sustained by small seasonal groups. It implies long-term planning and centralized control across generations. The logistics alone raise an unsettling question. Who commanded this effort, and why was it considered essential? Precision in construction deepens the mystery. Archaeologists have documented that stones were placed with accuracy measured in inches. This exceeds what would be needed for ritual alignment or symbolic placement. Each stone appears positioned in relation to others in a way that suggests interaction rather than decoration. Some researchers believe the builders understood structural relationships that are not immediately visible. The visible arrangement may only represent part of a larger design. Time investment adds further weight. Evidence suggests construction occurred over many decades, possibly centuries, without major revisions or trial phases. Large projects usually show mistakes, adjustments, or abandoned attempts. Stonehenge does not. Its consistency implies a clear plan maintained across generations. Resources committed to this project were enormous. Food, tools, transport materials, and labor were diverted at a scale that suggests something vital was at stake. Many researchers now argue that the stones themselves, not what they symbolized, were the primary objective. When effort outweighs appearance, materials become evidence. The scale of work suggests that the visible monument was secondary. Whatever mattered most was not meant to be seen on the surface. Stones as engineered components, not symbols. The stones at Stonehenge were not placed to be admired, they were placed to perform. From the beginning, the builders selected stones for how they behaved under load, not for how they looked. Blue stones and sarsen stones differ sharply in density, hardness, and strength. These differences were not accidental. Each stone type was used where its physical properties mattered most. Weight, composition, and resistance determined placement, not symbolism or decoration. The stones are arranged to push force straight down into the ground. When one stone rests on another, the pressure does not spread outward, it travels vertically. This design prevents sideways stress that would cause collapse over time. Archaeological evidence shows that the sarsen stones were erected in post holes approximately 1 meter deep. Each hole was carefully shaped to match the base profile of its specific stone. This level of customization shows that the builders planned each placement individually. The stones were not interchangeable. Each one had a defined role in the structure. This approach reveals a system, not a display. A change to one stone affects others nearby. The structure behaves as a single unit rather than as separate elements arranged in a circle. That kind of interdependence only makes sense if the builders were managing forces across the entire site. Placement also varies by location. Heavier stones are concentrated where load transfer matters most. Lighter stones appear where stress must be absorbed or redirected. This distribution follows structural logic. It does not follow ritual symmetry. The builders understood that different parts of the structure would experience different pressures over time. Some stones that appear excessive or unnecessary from a visual standpoint serve clear structural purposes. They reinforce weak points and stabilize areas where stress accumulates. The result is a form that behaves like a shell. It resists movement and maintains balance even under shifting conditions. The upright orientation of the stones is also intentional. Vertical placement ensures that gravity works in favor of stability. Weight flows downward into prepared ground, rather than outward against neighboring stones. This greatly reduces the risk of tipping or gradual spread. The builders clearly understood that vertical load transfer was safer and more durable. When viewed this way, Stonehenge stops being a ring of stones and becomes a working system. Each component was selected, shaped, and positioned with care. The visible form is only the outer expression of an internal logic. Once the stones are understood as functional components, their interaction with the environment can no longer be ignored. Alignment, sound, and contained effects. Stonehenge's design interacts with the environment in ways that go beyond structure. Reports show that many of the celestial alignments converge inward, pointing to the center rather than outward for observation. The solstice sunrises and sunsets line up with specific stones in such a way that light reaches the circle's core precisely at certain moments. Some researchers speculate these alignments were not meant for casual viewing. Instead, they may mark specific windows of activation, moments when some effect could be triggered at the center. Sound at the site also behaves strangely. Experiments and local reports indicate that echoes fade unusually fast for an open space. Vibrations from shouts, drum beats, or stone strikes are altered depending on whether they occur at the center or the perimeter. Some observers note that the sound seems contained, as if the circle redirects or dampens it. According to some researchers, the effect cannot be explained by stone size or layout alone. The arrangement appears to control acoustic energy internally rather than letting it disperse freely. The circle seems to manage vibrations in subtle ways. Certain positions amplify or absorb minor forces differently. Wind and other environmental movements interact with the stones unpredictably, creating localized effects at the center. Unverified reports suggest that the site may have been designed to channel energy inward, focusing forces within the circle rather than allowing them to escape.
This level of control goes beyond what would be needed for simple ceremonial use. Even the timing of alignments appears functional. Some researchers believe that the positions of the sun, moon, and stars were used to trigger resonance effects at specific moments. These patterns suggest planning and intention, not decoration. According to local accounts, the builders may have understood that activation could produce results that were dangerous if uncontrolled. The evidence points to containment and management, not display. The combination of light, vibration, and sound implies an internal logic to the site. Every stone, every gap, and every alignment contributes to the behavior of energy inside the circle. Researchers speculate that Stonehenge was designed to create effects that are not visible outside the circle. The structure behaves like a controlled environment, a device whose activity is meant to be concentrated within. Modern archaeologists have struggled to test these theories using conventional methods. Reports show that repeated measurements often give inconsistent results because the effects are subtle and require precise timing. This has led to some teams to bring in improved technology. Advanced sensors, simulations, and AI-assisted analysis are now being applied to detect patterns that humans alone cannot measure. These tools allow researchers to study alignment, resonance, and energy behavior with far greater accuracy than ever before.
Archaeologists studying Stonehenge faced a serious limitation. The most unusual signals were coming from deep beneath the stones, but digging was not an option. Any attempt to excavate the center of the monument risked damaging the stones, collapsing the structure, or permanently altering one of the most protected sites on Earth. For decades, this meant that the deepest questions about what lay beneath Stonehenge remained unanswered. According to reports, a major shift happened when researchers decided to stop trying to reach the hidden areas physically and instead study how the monument behaved. Rather than digging into the ground, they began collecting detailed measurements from the surface and the stones themselves. This included precise mapping of stone positions, weight distribution, vibration patterns, and how sound moved through the structure. All of this information was fed into artificial intelligence systems designed to analyze complex structures. The AI did not search for empty spaces directly. Instead, it studied patterns. It examined how pressure moved through the stones, how vibrations changed at certain points, and how energy appeared to flow inward rather than outward. According to experts, this approach allowed the AI to detect hidden features indirectly by observing effects rather than surfaces. The process worked step by step. First, every stone was digitally measured and placed into a virtual model. Next, stress simulations calculated how weight and force traveled through the monument. Acoustic data was added to show how sound behaved across different areas. The AI then combined all of this information and ran thousands of simulations, testing what kind of hidden structure could cause the patterns researchers were seeing. The results were consistent. Again and again, the simulations pointed toward a central volume beneath the stones. According to reports, this was not a random gap or natural hollow. The data suggested a defined space with clear boundaries, positioned deliberately at the heart of the monument. Researchers emphasized that this conclusion did not come from imagination, but from repeated modeling that produced the same outcome. This marked a turning point. For the first time, archaeologists had a way to visualize something they could not touch or uncover. The AI reconstruction transformed absence into structure. What had once been speculation now had a measurable form grounded in data and physical behavior. That discovery led directly to a deeper and more troubling realization. If a central space existed, the next question was obvious. Why could no one reach it?